Welcome back, everyone. I'm Mr. Porter, and today I'm going to be sharing with you what happens or what do you do when one of your child or children at your daycare is choking. It's important. I don't know if you've ever experienced someone choking, whether it's a child or an adult. It can be a very tense situation, a crisis is happening in front of you to where this person, if they don't get whatever is lodged in their throat or in their airway out, they could possibly die. As child care providers, we are to protect children to the utmost. And the parents that bring the children to your precious daycare to take care of their child, they're trusting you to keep that child safe. So we're going to be going over some points here in this particular segment on what do you do when a child is choking. And I'm going to share with you some steps on how you implement an emergency plan, once again, when it concerns a choking child. Children from the ages of 1 to 5, they're always putting objects in their mouths. That's just a fact. And when children are constantly putting things in their mouths, you're constantly, as providers, are taking them out to keep them from choking on them. Things such as money, marbles. Well, these things shouldn't be around the child anyway, but children, they get around. They take their little legs and they go hither and they go thither, and they pick up things, and, there you have it. But you want to make sure that your environment is safe as a healthcare professional, not healthcare professional, but healthcare provider. You know what profession I'm in. A daycare provider, that is. You want to ensure that you're got the best practices inside of your daycare. Not only you, but your staff. Your staff should also be on the same level that you are on as the owner, to know how to protect children when they're choking. So let's get into our points here. Tips on helping a choking child. I'm going to read some things to you here. It says, when you see the object, try to remove it. When you see the object, you try to remove it. Now, you have to be careful. It's very important to remain calm during an emergency. And what you don't want to do is take your finger and ram into that child's mouth and try to scrape whatever is out, and it can cause damage. Because first of all, you have to take into consideration when you're working with children, you want to keep your nails at a certain length. And you don't want to be sticking a long fingernail, and you don't need a long fingernail to do damage to a child's throat or esophagus by, causing injury, scratching it or whatnot. Hygiene is important. It's very important to not have hook nails, women. Men, if you're working in daycare, you want to ensure that your fingernails are at a certain length as well, which is short. Short is recommended. You're not going to daycare, waking up that morning thinking that you're going to go in and save a child from choking today. You're going to use your hook finger, or your finger, that is, that's in the form of a hook, to try to pull something out of that child's mouth. That's not your intention of the day, of that particular day. But just in case that occurs, you want to ensure that your finger length, your fingernails at a certain length, and that you use common sense when it concerns reaching into that child's mouth. Because when a person or child is choking, adult or child, their mouth is open and they're trying to get, their lungs is trying to push whatever that is in their airway out. So you have an opportunity, if you see it, to pull the object out. That is step number one, or point number one. And you can do it repeatedly with your fingers. Don't make things worse by pushing it further into down the child's throat, because you're in a panic mode. Remain calm, people. Point number two, if your child's coughing loudly, encourage them to carry on coughing to bring up the object that is lodged in their airway, and do not leave them. you stay with that child to ensure that you're doing due diligence to help save that child's life by getting the object out of their airway. If your child is coughing, if your child coughing isn't effective or it's silent, you don't hear anything, you don't hear any breath sounds, shout for help immediately and dial 911. You know, because the child can go unconscious if he or she does not have the proper air that's circulating and oxidizing the body like how it needs. If they can't breathe properly, they can go unconscious, and you know that can be a situation as well. You're on a time frame when it concerns a choking situation. Is the sooner you get that object out, the better. The next point. If your child's is still conscious, but they're either not coughing or their coughing isn't effective, use back blows. And I know there are a lot of different type of opinions regarding that. You know, don't hit it in the back. Yes, hit in the back. You know, don't hit in the back. Yes, go. You got to hit the child in the back. No, you hit in the back, it'll go down further and make it worse. But in this particular situation and segment, you can use back blows, but there's a certain procedure that you put into effect when it concerns those particular back blows that you're giving the child. All right, moving right along. Back blows to a 1-year-old. I'm going to read these steps, and this is going to educate you on what you do with a child that is 1 year that is a 1-year-old when it concerns back blows. Now, we're not in a wrestling ring. You're not in a wrestling ring, people. You're not going to be jumping off the top rope, coming down on the back of the baby, okay, to try to get the object out. And I know that's a little over the top, but, you know, you have to use discretion when it concerns the type of child or the size of the child or the age of the child that you're performing these back blows on. Now, when a baby is choking, 1 year old, what you're going to do, you're going to sit down first, okay? You sit down and lay your baby face down along your thighs, supporting their head with your hand, okay? That is the first step. Step number 2, give up to 5 back blows with the heel of your hand in the middle of the child's back. Okay, with the heel of your hand, this is the heel of your hand, the palm of your hand. You got the child like this. Okay, if a 1 year old, their neck is between your fingers or however you're holding them at that particular time. And you got the heel of your hand, and you're going to give up to 5 sharp back blows to their back. Okay, with the heel of your hand between the shoulder blades. That's the point of reference. Back blows for children over 1 year old. You lay that small child face down on your lap as you would a baby. If this isn't possible, support the child in a forward leaning position and give 5 back blows from behind. The procedure is pretty much the same. And there's a lot of video that you can watch on the internet to see or get a visual presence of what you should do in this particular situation concerning these instructions. Chest thrusts for children under 1 year. Lay your baby face up along the length of your thighs. Find the breastbone and place 2 fingers in the middle and give 5 sharp chest thrusts, pushes, compressing the chest about a third of the way. And in another video, I'm actually going to go through a particular demonstration of this. So keep watching. For that. It'll be a separate video, totally different from this video. This particular segment this morning is to give you the instruction on what you need to do in case an emergency of choking occurs at your facility. Abdominal thrust. Abdominal thrust for children over 1 year old. Stand or kneel behind your child. Place your arms under the child's arms and around their upper abdomen. Clench your fist in the place between the navel and the ribs. It's kind of like how you do in adult. The navel and the rib. And let's continue the reading, and I'm going to show you a demonstration of what to do. Grasp your hand with your other hand and pull sharply inwards and upwards. Okay, then sharply up, inwards and upwards, just like that. Okay. Repeat 5 times. Make sure you don't apply pressure to the lower rib cage. Why? As this may cause injury. And whenever you follow these steps, you will get success. We pray for success when it concerns you're helping to save the life of a choking child. And, you know, as I emphasized again, it's very important that you remain calm and to the point when it concerns helping to save that child's life. Well, that concludes this particular segment. Hopefully I didn't go too long this particular time. But nevertheless, despite the length, this information is very important. So remember, when you're protecting, watching over children as a provider, the most important key is preparation. Make sure you're prepared when an emergency happens to where you can help save that child's life. Well, until next time, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.